Hi everyone, for today's review we'll be looking at the Transformers Kingdom Cybertron, Golden Disc Collection Mutants Tigatron or Prototype Tigatron. As you can see, this is an Amazon exclusive. It does come in the brown box, unfortunately. Since I bought mine used, it didn't come with that box. But this is, according to Hasbro, the new eco-friendly packaging, which also translates to cost savings on their side since they don't have to waste money on plastic. But other than that, if it's bought online, I think it's great for collectors, especially this box. Um, if you want to store it later, compared to the regular standard Kingdom boxes that have, that the other shape, which it kind of makes it harder to store in boxes and keep them in mint condition. But I think this has its pros and cons. I know that in retail, especially in person, a lot of people are either opening the figures, returning them. So sometimes now it's gonna make it a hassle now for collectors or even people to make sure that that box is not open when you go and buy the figure in person. So I'm sure Hasbro is also now looking into that. I don't know if somebody didn't think of that or they just want to roll the dice on this and see if it works. But back to the review, as you can see, the box is standard. I think this is the standard packaging. I think Pterosaur and other collectibles from the Amazon exclusives are gonna basically the front of the box is gonna look like this with the golden disc, and this is the back of the packaging. So as you can see, is the orange version of Tigatron. This goes back to its throwback, I think, to one of the prototypes of Tigatron. This was supposed to be the original colors for the show, and also the mutant head, which I think this mold makes a better version of Shadow Panther than the Cheetor one. That's one of the reasons that I bought it too. Like, it fits in as an additional Predacon if you wanted to. So let's take the figure out of the box and see what accessories he comes with. So as you can see, this is the figure and its packaging. It comes with his tail weapon and his gun. And as you can see, if somebody were to open this packaging in stores, it's not hard to remove the figure. It has those paper, what is I think? These are paper sort of like strings, which are not hard to rip off or pull apart compared to the wire ones. So that's gonna be interesting if Hasbro continues this packaging and what we find at retail stores. But yeah, nothing really interesting how the figure is packed. And of course, it does come with the instructions, which if you already have Cheetos, pretty much the engineering is almost the same on the transformation, so it's nothing new. And the transformation on this figure is also pretty simple. And here's a figure standing next to Tigatron. It's the same mold. The only difference is the head mold, as you can see. But I think it looks great. The repaint, and I think the head makes it seem like it's a completely new character. So that's the reasons that make me bought it. I was gonna skip this release, but then the mutant head won me over. So I'm like, hey, I do like this mold better than Panther for sure. I may even repaint mine into Shadow Panther since it's a little bit bigger. And here's a closer look at the head sculpt. I'm a little bit annoyed by Hasbro. I think for the mutant head, I think they could have made it like the original toy, giving us the mutant head that flips over to the regular head mold instead of making it just a completely new mold. So that would have been an interesting choice. Make it like the original toy. And I'm not a fan of, just hiding this in the back of the head when he transforms into his tiger mode. I wish they would have finished sculpting this. The head is completely in robot mode, but you know, once you turn the figure over, you get over it. As far as details and articulation, if you have Cheetor and the Tigatron release is pretty much the same. So as you can see, it does have waist rotation, shoulder rotation, double elbow articulation. The head doesn't move up and down. I think, I guess I'm wrong. I think on the Tigatron, then I don't think on the Tigatron is ball jointed. That's why, but he he's not able to look up and down that much, unfortunately. His hands do rotate at the wrist, but that's pretty much it. So for leg articulation, you can move and do the splits, so that's great. Only one single joint knee articulation, ankle articulation. And you're able to also move it back and forth, so that's great. One thing that bothered me about this mold though is I think they should have sculpted his back skirt into a gun like the original toy. That would have been a great feature on this. Instead, I know that they added some sculpting, which I do like, but other than that, it does from time to time it takes some view away from the robot mode, especially when you look at it at the back. It's pretty much a shell of his beast mode, which is another thing that I think this figure and the Cheeto one suffer. Look at all this. Look at all this. That shoulder armor is pretty much a shell to cover his beast mode. I feel that they could have done it differently. I don't care much, honestly, about the beast mode. I think if they would have focused more on the robot mode, that would have been great. And I think that's where honestly, where the figure suffers is where they try to cover so much in the beast mode that you end up with all these panels covering it up in robot mode. And let's transform him, and it shouldn't be hard. Let's see, you pull that head apart first. Push his beast mode head down. We push this down. Okay. Let's see, I think you open this panels up first too. Okay, I think you can fold the arms inside now. And I'm not sure if the hands are gonna go this way like the Cheetor mold, or if I need to flip them over, and I think I do. I think I need to flip them over this way. So what's crazy, I was looking at the instructions and they said that I need to pull the arms to the side to the armor. So they need to tab in over here. Okay, they do go in like this, but sometimes it's hard to tab over here, get the panels to align correctly, especially these panels. Okay, there we go. Yeah, as you can hear and see, some parts to click there correctly, others don't. So it's supposed to look like this, and then just turn everything in. I think from here the transformation should be the same as Cheeto. Pull the legs out. So yeah, I think you just pull the legs out, push the feet in, turn the knees inside, plug in the tail. For some reason I thought that his gun was gonna go in his belly like the old toy, but according to the instructions you clip it underneath his belly. So once you get him transformed, this is how he looks. And I just think it's ironic that Hasbro went all the way to create all those panels, but then they decide, hey, it's totally fine if you attach his gun underneath his belly. It's like, really? Yeah, and as I mentioned before, I think like if you have the original Cheetor toy, I think we could have done away with these panels and moved this up. And I think even then you could have hidden his gun here somehow, and it would have looked better than just attaching it beneath his belly. So he does have mouth articulation. Let me see if I can open it. Yeah. And this the paint apps look on the figure. Tony the Tiger. And I think they also borrow some engineering from the Masterpiece Cheetor if you haven't. Like the leg, how they form reminds me a lot of that toy. If you haven't, you'll probably notice that too. But thank you for watching. Let me know what you think of this figure. Are you gonna get it? And hopefully I will also post the Tigatron review too.